Coming up on this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society, pop the champagne and or pour one out for the Switch 2 launch year. It is said the east of Noboru has, so the Nintendo Cartridge Society has with you. Welcome to Nintendo Cartridge Society. My name is Patrick Ellers, and I am joined, as I am always joined, by my co-host, Mark Mitchell. Mark, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. We made it.
We did. Against all odds.
Against all the odds.
The truly touch and go.
But we did it. Switch 2 launch year.
Mm-hmm.
We have a new Nintendo Switch in our system. Next year, or this year.
This year. We're in 2026
We're in 2026.
Now.
We don't have to do a predictions episode where we predict what the Switch 2 is going to be.
Whoa!
What its name.
Whoa!
How much it costs.
Holy cow. That's the first time in, 4 years?
Yeah, something like that.
Holy cow. Wow.
Yeah, so if you're feeling a little lighter this morning, if you threw out
That's
the
why.
sheets,
Yeah.
felt feeling a little less burdened, that is why.
Wow. That's insane, Mark. And, honestly, I predict no new hardware next year. This year.
We're not, because we're in 2026.
We're in 2026. It's hard to remember because we're recording this in 2025.
Right.
Man, wow. That's crazy. Are we going to do a predictions episode? Not right now. We're not.
No,
we're not
today
predicting
we're
anything
not.
right now. We're looking back still, but we will be looking forward possibly in the future.
Yeah, we don't know.
We can only look to the past now.
I'm saving all my predictions for a potential prediction episode, so
Right.
I don't even want to predict if we're going to do a predictions episode.
Right.
I'm trying to conserve that energy.
You can tell when we've done prediction episodes in the past, certainly.
Yes.
Because that's the direction we're looking.
Yeah, that's right.
Before we get to all of that, people should know about patreon.com/Nintendo Cartridge Society, where if you're supporting us at the 8 or 16-bit levels, you get access to our once-a-month episodes of miniseries like NCS at the Movies.
Yes, where for many months last year, we were seeing movies with special guests and talking about them.
And I don't want to make any predictions, but I think for several months this year, we're going to do the same.
We are. I can't remember. We haven't settled on a January movie, right?
We have not settled on a January movie.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's why we don't have anything to announce right now, because we haven't settled on one. But you can sign up and listen to great episodes of NCS at the Movies, talking about things like Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery. I was about to call it What's Up Dead Man, which that is not what it's called.
No, but the acronym would be the same.
The acronym would be the same.
And so I like that. The Running Man, The Naked Gun, Superman, Fantastic Four First Steps.
Tron Ares.
And, of course, One Battle After Another.
Yes,
Right.
of course. Plus other mini-series that we've done in the past, like 3 seasons of NCS Arcade, where we played video games that neither of us had ever beaten before, mostly. NCS Detective Club, NCS Goes Broadway. All of that is available on the Patreon, some of it at the free level, some of it at the 4-bit level, some of it at the 8-bit level, all of it at the 16-bit level. Or 8 and 16-bit level.
All of it also at the 8-bit level, yes.
Yeah.
We appreciate you if you're supporting us at the 16-bit level. That's more of a kindness on your part than anything
that's
else.
True. Anyways, go over there, check it out. Lots of great stuff.
And also, another thing that you could check out if you were so inclined is the Discord. People are chatting about Nintendo stuff basically all the time. Don't head on over somewhere. Email us, Nintendo Cartridge Society at gmail.com, and I'll send you an invitation. You can get on in there. Mark, are you ready to sort of review the year and give out some wows and whiffs?
Yeah, let's do it.
Here we go. Okay, they're working now. The play and pause and skip buttons on my keyboard weren't triggering iTunes for whatever reason. So I had to do some of those early sound cues kind of a little bit more manually.
Behind the scenes, baby.
Anyway, it seems like it's all working now.
Peek behind the curtain.
I'm giving that a whiff. No, okay. So we've got this format where sometimes we will talk about stuff and we will give out wows and whiffs, or rather we will assign things wows and whiffs, and we're going to sort of take the entirety of the year 2025 and give out some wows and whiffs based on the big 8 categories that we've come up with that are all of like the buckets of Nintendo products and presentations and stuff like that have fallen into over the course of this year.
Yep.
So we have some kind of like tightly structured rules to this thing.
That's right. So we each have a set number of wows and whiffs and some other stuff.
Right. So we have 3 wows and we have 3 whiffs.
Yep.
And then we have 3 other
things,
honorifics that we can give out. 2 of which are established and written in stone, and 1 of which is a wild card.
Yes.
So, and we will reveal what the ones that are written in stone are, I think, when we use them.
Yeah.
Because they're fun. And so we have 9 altogether to give out to 8 categories. So there's one of these that we can just not use, be it a wow, a whiff, or one of these 3 other types of things. Now, we will go through these categories one by one, sort of talk about what each of them entails, and then we will assign it. Each of us gets a wow or a whiff. As we go through this, and we realize, crap, I need more whiffs. Oh, I need more wows. We can move them around, but by the end of it, 8 of our 9 must be spent.
Yes, that's right. And I don't know what Patrick's are. Patrick doesn't know.
That's right.
What mine are. And we don't have to agree.
That's correct. In fact, it's probably better if we don't, just for content's sake. But now that I say that, watch us agree on all of them. No. This is really just us granting structure to reviewing the entire year.
Yeah, that's right.
So, Mark, should we reveal the 8 categories?
Sure, yeah. So first we're going to be talking about first-party games on the Switch 2.
And then we're going to be doing first-party games on the Switch 1.
Nintendo Directs.
They're their own category. Third-party games, and this is largely third-party games on Switch 2, right?
Yeah, but I guess they...
In general,
In general.
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo Switch Online, checking in there.
Amiibo.
Non-video game products and things.
Yes, that's just the kind of a catch-all category, because the final category is the Switch 2 launch. Now, is a lot of that Switch 2 launch stuff going to be covered in the other categories? You bet. But a launch conveys its own feeling, its own momentum.
Yeah.
It's made up of games, it's made up of services, it's made up of all kinds of stuff. But the Switch 2 launch, we are going to be evaluating as its own separate thing, worthy of wow or whiff or whatever else these honorifics end up being.
Now, maybe we might want to do this at the end.
Okay.
And I don't think we have to assign any of our honorifics to it.
To the year in general?
To the year in general, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I do think it's a mixed bag year, right? Like I don't think it would be easy to call this year for Nintendo a wow or a whiff.
Yeah.
Which is why like us having an even number of wows and whiffs feels right. It's a little challenging still, right? But yeah, I don't need like 5 more wows, right?
Right, but I agree with you. I think it was I think for sure it was a mixed bag, even with like the really strong stuff that they did, you know.
Trying to be vague. And even considering the strong stuff they didn't do.
Yeah. I mean, mixed bag.
Yeah. Well, all right. Shall we just start with our first category here?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so the first category is first-party games for the Switch 2. Let's talk about what we mean here when we say first-party games on Switch 2. So obviously there are the brand new Switch 2 exclusive games, which by my count there aren't that many of just that, right? So we got Donkey Kong Bonanza, we got Dragon Drive, we've got Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, and Kirby Air Riders. Those are the only 4 like exclusive, right?
No, I don't think that's right, because I think Mario Kart World.
Mario Kart World, yes,
is
and
on there,
right? And Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour.
Yes.
Okay, so those like 6 games. Also in contention here, or a part of the conversation, Super Mario Party Jamboree plus Jamboree TV, Kirby and the Forgotten Land plus Starcross Worlds, Pokemon Legends ZA, and Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. And obviously, we're talking about the Switch 2 versions of all of those games. So, Mark, given that, so was there something else that was part of this too, Mark?
I think the other thing that we were talking about is
Yes.
updates to first-party games that aren't necessarily like special Nintendo Switch 2 editions, but by
Right.
having a Switch 2, they're releasing updates for games that make
Right.
them run better, higher resolution.
We're
that sort
talking
of
about
thing.
like Super Mario Odyssey. We're talking about like Link's Awakening and Echoes of Wisdom.
Even like Super Mario Galaxy, that release, right? Like,
Sure.
has improvements for Switch 2 that aren't a special Switch 2 edition.
Right. And something like Clubhouse Games gets like the game share functionality, stuff like that. I guess also in this category sort of goes the Nintendo Switch 2 versions of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, right?
Right.
So there's a lot that goes under this umbrella, I think. So, Mark, what do you think?
All right.
I gotta say, just like
Yeah.
from like broad kind of strokes, I loved Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Yeah, for sure.
A Switch 2 exclusive first party game, like a game that I loved. Loved the Emerald Rush DLC. I know it gets kind of flack online, but like whatever. I think it's awesome. I really liked Mario Kart World when it came out. I've really liked revisiting it. And I had an absolute blast with the with Breath of the Wild, the Switch 2 version. I didn't finish that game, but I got through the 4 Divine Beasts and like really loved it. And I'm still working my way through Metroid Prime 4, which I'm overall liking. It just to give like a little snapshot of like the individual games that I had like a very good time with.
Yeah. Let's just do our
Okay.
Let's reveal our choices, because then I think it'll just be easier to
Right.
talk about.
Sure. Okay, so we are going to on the count of 3, we're going to 1, 2, 3, and take our.
Yeah, we have sticky notes.
We have sticky notes,
with
right?
all of our honorifics written down. And
Okay.
So yes, we'll count down from 3
Yes.
and then reveal.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Wow. Okay, we're both saying wow.
Yeah, I think that it's, as far as Nintendo Switch 2 first-party releases go, I think it's been a good year. I mean, like you said, Mario Kart World, Donkey Kong Bonanza, I think is an all-timer.
Yes, I will at 100% agree with
Like, that game is great and makes me hopeful for that we'll get consistent entries
Yes.
in like a Bonanza style franchise.
Yeah, I mean, it's either that or yes, I am hopeful of that, but it's also like Nintendo has this in them still, right? Like we've talked about this before. Every now and then Nintendo has the capacity to just release one of the great games like that enter the canon as like potential greatest games of all time. And you don't need to necessarily be reminded of that all the time. Like Tears of the Kingdom only came out a couple years ago. But like this absolutely fits that brief, and you're like, oh yeah, Nintendo can still do it, and are actively doing it right now. I do think there's like this is sort of the quintessential like mixed bag that I'm impressed by, because like I bounced off Pokemon Legends pretty fast. I didn't even pick up Hyrule Warriors. Kirby Air Riders I think is a lot of fun, but like not totally the type of game that I want to play a bunch of. And then like I think Mario Party Jamboree is like a straight up miss, and I was kind of bored by the extra content in Kirby and the Forgotten Land. If those games were brand new to me, would I feel differently? Maybe. Like, this is the most, or one of the more conflicted wows on my list.
So I think it's a strong lineup.
Yeah.
Especially compared to other launch lineups that aren't the Switch. Because the Switch's first year was just cuckoo bananas.
Yeah, totally.
You know, you started the year with Breath of the Wild, you ended the year with Odyssey, you had a bunch of other games in between, Splatoon 2, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, games that
ARMS, Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Yeah.
and a lot of those just sold endlessly through the Switch's entire life, right? Like so many of the things that define the Switch happened in that first year, and then they just continued to you know, like be the momentum for that system. And the Switch 2 is not that, and so I think, you know, Mario Kart World going to sell continuously through the life of the Switch 2.
And
Donkey
genuinely
Kong Bonanza.
a great game.
Yeah. And Donkey Kong Bonanza, like we said, you know, like a really great game. But it just doesn't have the same impact at like the other releases, which I think are solid. Like I would say overall it's a solid launch lineup, not like the most magnificent launch lineup we've ever seen.
Totally.
But solid doesn't begin with a W, so we didn't have that as an option.
Right. We had to use WoW, Whiff, or some of these other ones that we don't want to give away at the moment. Okay. Any other just like stray thoughts about the first party lineup?
In 2025?
Yeah, on Switch 2.
I think no, not really.
I do think that one thing just for me, you know, I mentioned all sort of rattled off here. Pokemon Legends, Hyrule Warriors, Kirby Air Riders, and Metroid Prime 4. Man, they released all of those games within 2 months. A month and a half, really, right? From mid-October until the beginning of December. And, you know, I am a person who, on a long enough timeline throughout a year, will just accidentally buy everything Nintendo puts out, right? Like, I made that a promise in 2024, and not a promise in 2025. But these all came out so fast that, like, even if I wanted to like spend more time in Pokemon Legends, I just didn't have that much time with the game, you know, like to get thirsty to try it more. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, like when I look at it, I bought Mario Kart World,
Yes.
Nintendo Switch Welcome Tour, which I haven't finished, but occasionally will go back into and, you know, do a section or two. Donkey Kong Bonanza. I did buy Dragon Drive, but it came out right before I was traveling and then never played it ever again. I picked up Starcross World, but I didn't pick up Pokemon Legends. I didn't pick up Hyrule Warriors. I didn't pick up Air Riders. And Metroid Prime 4, I did pick up. So there was kind of like a stretch there after August where I wasn't picking up anything new on the Switch 2.
Right.
So that's where I feel like, for me, it's a solid launch period, but there were just a number of releases that didn't interest me. And so it's like, yes, I give credit to the fact that they exist, but it didn't personally impact my
your gaming habits. And you know, I think we both had like sort of busy years, just like generally speaking, and I think overall we played less games than we have in the past.
That's true.
Although like I say that, and like, you know, I don't know, I put like 60 hours into Bonanza and like another 100 hours into Hades 2, and I just said I had a full playthrough of Breath of the Wild. So like I was playing games. It's just like, for whatever reason, it doesn't feel quite the same as how we were playing games in previous years.
I also think it doesn't help, and maybe this brings us into our next section. I think it doesn't help that I felt like I was like scrambling for things to play until the Switch 2 launched. And so
that's true.
The beginning of the year, you know, before the Switch 2 was revealed, before the Switch 2 was released, it felt like a slim, you know, Nintendo offering. And that's because it was. There were not very many Switch 1 releases from Nintendo this year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The beginning of the year is so hard to, not to get like serious and like heavy on a podcast about like, what did Nintendo have a good year, you know, but like the beginning of the years with like the fires and like the inauguration, all this stuff where it's just, and then like, you know, all the ice stuff where it's just like, oh yeah, the beginning of the year sucked.
Right.
Just on like a personal political level, and you know, where we eventually get to with like our entertainment stuff, you know, maybe has a shot of like drowning out some of that despair. but like just didn't at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
And also we were doing a NCS arcade at that time, so I think you and I were really just playing a lot of like the games that were coming out on like NSO, because like those were our, you know what I mean? Like we weren't playing a bunch of new games. I think we were playing like older stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's true. I mean, I just look at the first party games,
Yeah.
right, for Switch. Yeah, Donkey Kong Country Returns.
Well, wait. Do you want to move on to? Because that's our second category.
Yes.
Okay.
Or was there anything else you want to say
No,
about
no,
Switch 2 launch?
no.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So Donkey Kong Country Returns in January. I picked this up, or HD. I picked this up and played a little bit of it, and I didn't like it. I was not having fun. I did not think it was very.
Right.
I don't think it has aged very well. I was really surprised.
What's so funny is like we both have experiences like this, right? Where we get the brand new Nintendo game and we're like, oh yeah, I don't know, why did I do this? And usually for me, it's a Xenoblade Chronicles game, which one of them came out this year, and I did not buy it.
Good for you.
And
good for you.
Also, the Muso games, and then one of those came out this year, and I didn't buy it.
Right.
So I feel like I'm cured. And Mark, you have my disease now.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Although I didn't buy Xenoblade Chronicles X either.
That's true. But so Xenoblade Chronicles comes out at the end of March, right? March 20th. That's the only two Switch 2 or Switch 1 games that come out before the launch of the Switch 2 this year.
Crazy.
A full 6 months, 2 games come out, and they're both like HD versions of games from not that long ago.
Yeah.
Also coming out on Switch 1 from the first party this year, Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, another like repackaging of older games. Very cool to see Galaxy 2. Pokemon Legends ZA and Metroid Prime 4. That's it. 5 games.
Wow, were there really 7 months between Switch 1 releases where it was Xenoblade Chronicles X in March and it wasn't until October?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
That's crazy.
It's such a long time. But, they launched a console in the meantime.
I know they launched yes, 100%. They launched a console, but you have like 150 million or whatever.
I know.
Switches just sitting out there. Yeah, interesting.
And like further interesting that like, 3 of these releases are re-releases. But, one of them being the Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 package, which is the second ever $70 Switch 1 game. The other being Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just like, what justifies that expense on a Switch 1 game? Switch 2 games have just settled into like, sorry, the base price for these things is $70. Mario Kart 8 for or Mario Kart World is 80 for whatever reason. But just like a curious little like, oh, I guess this one is just a little bit more expensive.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's like a Mario premium, if it is a
bundled
we have to
game.
Hit our numbers for the year
I don't know.
Premium. I don't know either.
They did sell them separately. I think if you bought them separately, they're $40 each, right? The Galaxy games.
I can't remember
That
because I embarrassingly just bought them both.
Yeah.
So I just bought the package.
Yeah, me too. We saved $10, maybe.
Maybe, we're not sure.
We don't actually know.
This
okay.
is okay. Yeah, let's
yeah.
reveal.
Okay.
Let's
okay.
reveal.
3, 2, 1. Whiff. We both went whiff on this. It's a whiff, but it's kind of like a.
I get it.
It's an unimportant whiff, right? Like it's a.
I don't know.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't know because I understand why they needed to focus all of their energy on the Switch 2 launch, and that came out of the gate really hot. And so, I think in that way it was a success. And with all of like the price increases and on like the Switch 1 hardware and all this stuff like that, like it's clear that, they understand how important the Switch 2 is to their future. And so
because
they need to move on.
The Switch 2 was something where they specifically did not raise prices.
Right.
They did on accessories and on like original Switch hardware went up in price. Switch 2 stayed exactly where it was from the second they announced it.
Because they need to sell as many of those things as possible to like move people from the Switch to the Switch 2 over. But I wonder, given, like how, I don't know. I just wonder if with so many Switches out there
Right.
that they may. I think it's a damned if they do, damned if they don't situation, really, because I wonder
Totally.
if nobody can predict the future. This is certainly not a predictions episode.
No.
But if the floor falls out, everybody saw the headlines about November video game console sales in the U.S.
Right.
And they were the worst they've been in like 20 years or something like that, maybe even longer. Like they were abysmal compared to what they normally are in November, and nobody's really sure why. But and we don't know what December looked like, but the speculation is that it's like, oops, are these things just too expensive? People are not interested in spending this much money on video game consoles right now.
Sure.
And if that is the case, will Nintendo have wished that they had a stronger pipeline for
Switch One games?
Switch One games.
Yeah, I mean, and that's is it possible that we see any of these Switch 2 games like reverse engineered for Switch 1? Like, it doesn't seem likely that they could get Mario Kart World running on a Switch 1,
or that they would want to,
would want to,
because they do want people to move to the Switch 2. That's the next 10 years of Nintendo. So yeah, I mean,
it's not as though they have no Switch 1 games coming out next year, right? Like they've got two marquee first party, whatever, Rhythm Heaven and Tamagotchi Life. But like they have games coming out on Switch 1 next year. Are those the type of games that are going to like permeate the huge install base of the Switch 1 or not? And they feel to me like not. But I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm very curious to get a handle on how well Metroid Prime 4 sells because it is on both systems. But also, like, Metroid's such a strange data point from like a sales perspective anyway, which like I just want to know. I like in like 2 or 3 months, once we get like the the January to like from launch through like the end of March next year, I just want to get those numbers and see like, did this thing actually sell?
Right. Yeah, so I would say Switch 1 first party games is a whiff, but I get it. And I don't really know that they could have done anything different. But yeah, if you're a Switch 1 owner, you just sat out most of the year.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you absolutely did. And I think some of that is made up for by some of the NSO releases, but I guess we'll talk about that in a little bit. All right, our next category here is Nintendo Directs. So just in general, what Nintendo, very communicative this year, right? I feel like there were Directs, like early in the year, not so much, but around the time that the Switch 2 Direct, like the thing that really blows it all out, in April, kind of from then to the end of the year, there was always something like on the horizon, like some sort of Direct, conveying information of one kind or another. Do we want to just like shout out some Directs that were like impactful or like disappointing or strange or whatever?
Well, I was just going to say, like, especially compared to 2024,
yes,
2025 felt really robust as far as Nintendo Directs go. Like back to and once the Switch 2 Direct happened in early April, kind of like back to normal in some ways. It's like normal plus.
Mm-hmm.
We got a lot of the regular Directs and showcases. Plus, we got some bonus Kirby Directs and some bonus. You know what I mean? Like
the Kirby Directs are one of the more like the stranger things where it's like, they were putting out those Directs hosted by Masahiro Sakurai, who developed or directed the game and who had directed Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and hosted all of those Directs. And it seems like they're just like, I don't know, that's the way we market his games. And it seems like that's not actually, that's how you market a Smash Brothers game. And like, I know our appetite personally and within like our community on Discord, that there was just not that much excitement for those Directs, that a lot of us tuned in for them. And then we're like, I'm out after 20 minutes, So those feel like weird, not missteps, because it's still fun that they exist. But yeah, just overall strange.
Also, we got some, I would also say, stranger Directs in like a Mario Kart World Direct and a Donkey Kong Bonanza Direct, where they were more like extended trailers than they were like directs.
Yeah, well, and like that Mario Kart World specific direct was so strange because we had been plugged in to like all of the all like the pre-release coverage, right, where they were Nintendo was like sending people to, not actually sending, but there was all of this like preview coverage of people trying out Switch 2's hands-on experiences, and so basically everything, we got so much information about Mario Kart World from those impressions that were then being reiterated in the direct, and you and I were both like, yeah, we just got this information. But if you weren't a plugged in like hyper fan like the two of us, I'm sure the direct was
informative. Yeah, totally. Also, I just want to point out that how fortunate I was, because if you'll remember, that on the day of the Switch 2 direct, I went to the emergency room with the kidney stone,
right,
and it happened like literally 20 minutes after the Switch 2 direct ended. I was like, I was telling my husband, I think I've got to go to the emergency room. Can you imagine the nightmare if it had happened before the Switch 2 direct? If I had missed the Switch 2 direct because of the kidney stone?
I mean, I was thinking, can you imagine the nightmare if like you and I were sitting down to record, when, like on mic, if you would have been like, I think I have to go to the emergency room.
Yeah, that would have been bad. But I think it would have been worse if like
totally
in the middle of the Switch 2 direct.
I can't go. I have to watch this.
Exactly. So yeah,
and friend of the show Connor McCabe stepped
heroically
up
filled in
and helped out there. And then you and I recorded like 2 more episodes about that presentation afterwards. Anyway, so like whatever. And I gotta say, so like that was such a big. It felt like for us, like big and satisfying direct where, we got all of these crazy announcements, like the Mario Kart World, or I guess that wasn't the announcement, but Welcome Tour was there, the Switch 2 versions of the Zelda games, Hyrule Warriors, Kirby Air Riders, Donkey Kong Bonanza, like reminder about Metroid Prime 4. It was just
the camera, game share.
Totally. And also all of this, like, here are the specs on this thing. Here is how we are thinking about its power and like numbers and HDR and 4K and all and 120 hertz. All this stuff that was like, oh, Nintendo's talking about this thing differently, right?
Right.
And so I don't know. That felt like such an amazing presentation. And especially because it was a week after this Switch 1 presentation. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
Where, Rhythm Heaven and Tomodachi Life and the announcement, the reveal of Nintendo Today all happened in this thing, along with a bunch of other stuff, all Switch 1 focused. Feeling kind of crazy that they gave us that much information over the course of a week and a half.
Well, especially because, again, 2024 was so quiet.
Yes.
And really, I feel like once, like, everybody, including Nintendo, was waiting to be able to reveal the Switch 2.
Yes.
Because once that happened, the news has kind of been relentless. Like we've talked about it before. In years past, even before 2024, around the holidays, stuff got quiet. Like we were scrambling for things to talk about on a news episode.
Right.
And that was not a problem this year. Like even over the break, even when we were taking time off, we could have done news episodes because things were still happening.
Things were still happening.
It's just kind of been crazy with how much like pent up energy it has felt like Nintendo has had, and then they've spent the rest of the year unspooling it.
Well, and again, a lot of that is, the 4 or 5 big releases, big in quotes, all in the last like 2 months of the year, 2.5 months, like really does mean that like all of the information about those games and around their releases pop at the same time. So like it was a very exciting year news wise. I will also say that the Nintendo Direct in September, the one that focused largely on Mario's 35th anniversary or 40th anniversary, my gosh, revealing Virtual Boy is coming to NSO.
That was good.
Pokemon Pokopia, which I'm hyped for. Mario Tennis Fever. Super Mario Brothers Wonder plus Bella Bella Park, the Nintendo Switch 2 version. Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. The Fire Emblem game. A reminder about Tomodachi Life.
It was a great direct.
It was a great direct, and like had just the right mix of like this is cool stuff for like, hardcore game guys. This is cool stuff for like Nintendo dorks, and this is cool stuff for everyone.
Yeah, there was great third-party stuff in there too that we'll talk about when we talk about third-party games.
Yep.
But like Resident Evil Requiem and all that kind of stuff.
Totally.
So yeah, I think. I mean, should we reveal?
Yes, we shall reveal. 3, 2, 1.
This is a wow for me.
This is a wham bam thank you ma'am for me. I could not imagine being more satisfied by a year's worth of Nintendo Directs. So this is one of our special pieces, the wham bam thank you ma'am. Mark is giving it a wow, which feels like a step down from wham bam thank you ma'am, but I don't know.
Yeah. I'm reserving maybe my wham bam thank you man for something else.
Yes,
but
very good.
yeah, I think it was definitely a wow year for Nintendo Directs. Of course, when you have a new hardware reveal, that in and of itself is going to make it a pretty incredible year.
Yep. All right. Are you ready to move on to third-party games, third-party support on mostly Switch 2, but also Switch 1? So seemingly a lot of games.
I think for me, a lot of games. And I think the reason why Switch 2 stands out to us so much is because this feels like a different energy from third parties than we've been seeing.
It's not bringing Arkham City, the Armored Edition, to Wii U.
Right. And even, like there used to be a few miracle ports on Switch where you're like, wow, they got Witcher 3 running. Wow, Doom is coming to Switch.
And Mark is going to play it there.
Yeah, and I really liked it. But, and it felt like it was like, yes, you're getting it sometimes with compromises, but you are getting it. Versus with Switch 2, it has come out of the gate like, no, you're going to get, older games, but even some newer ones. Like, you're going to get Star Wars Outlaws, and the port's going to be good.
Pretty good, yeah.
You're going to get sports games, and they're going to be the full versions now. They're not going to be, like previous generations. You're getting Borderlands 4 someday, maybe. You know what I mean? Like
someday, we think. But like, Cyberpunk 2077, Street Fighter 6, those like current generation games that are now just like out on this platform. And we got a lot of like information about stuff coming in the future, like Indiana Jones, like Elden Ring. You mentioned Borderlands 4, if they ever get that to run on, I don't know, anything.
But like Resident Evil, right?
Yep.
Day and date. Capcom now has two current
Pragmata,
generation games, that and Pragmata, both coming out day and date on the Switch 2. We think.
We think.
We'll see.
Those are the plans.
That has happened. It's happened in the past.
They're printing amiibos for both those games too.
But yeah, like
I fully believe that Requiem will come out.
I think so too.
Coming up real soon.
And it has like special editions and all that kind of stuff.
And then Pragmata is also like coming out in April, right?
Yeah,
something like that. Really soon.
They're really soon. Also, this isn't even counting, or I don't have it on the list, but like this is an older port, but like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Oh yes.
Remake.
Man.
What is the first one called?
Remake.
Yeah. Like that comes out in a few weeks. I have that pre-ordered. So it feels like a really exciting
and what a responsible price point for that too, right? It's like $40.
Yeah, and comes, if you bought it, it comes with like the original Final Fantasy VII.
Incredible.
Yeah,
and it's the Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, so it's got like that extra content.
Yep.
And this is all to say nothing of like the. So Square Enix cool support on Switch 2 this year for their sort of like kind of, I don't know, what's the second rung of stuff that Square Enix does. I'm talking about like Dragon Quest 1+2 HD2D remake. I'm talking about Final Fantasy Tactics: The Evil East Chronicles. I'm talking about Octopath Traveler 0. They're like big but not at that like AAA level.
Yeah.
That are all like really impressive things. And then the like pair of indie giants that are Hollow Knight, Silksong, and Hades 2, also out on Switch 2. Hades 2, a Switch and Switch 2 exclusive on console. Crazy.
Yeah.
A game that, again, as previously stated, I put like 100 hours into this year. So a pretty impressive lineup there.
Yeah, and I hope that it is being rewarded. Like, I hope that they're seeing the returns that they like are looking for, because it'd be really great to see
more support like that.
And maybe with Xbox being a non-factor as far as third-party sales go.
Yeah.
Now, like,
I'm sorry, I was just laughing because you said fart. As
Yeah,
far
let's-
as it is
let's all
part.
take a moment.
Let's just like take a moment, like Mark said, fart. So derail the conversation. Microsoft is not a fart of this anymore.
Yeah, Microsoft has no fart in it, and so and that might be part of the reason why now companies are taking the Switch 2 more seriously. It's like we need to sell our games somewhere,
Yeah.
and it's not like it doesn't seem like PlayStation 5 sales have taken over
Right, they haven't
the customer.
cannibalized
Yeah,
all
they
of that,
haven't
yeah.
cannibalized the Xbox player base. I'm sure PC is growing, but it doesn't seem like that has exploded. And so it may just be the practical reality that third parties need to sell their games somewhere, and now they have to take Switch seriously. But it seems like the Switch 2 is a place that they can do that reasonably.
Well, and also like it's funny we're saying like the third parties need to blah 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 blah, but that Patapon like remake remaster whatever, that's a Sony game,
Right.
And Indiana Jones is one that we mentioned. That's a Microsoft game.
Yeah.
And so the fact that both of those are either came out or are coming out on Switch 2 means that there is like a sea change in like the kind of third party support that is coming to Switch and in particular Switch 2.
Yes.
All right, are you ready to give this a wow or a whiff or something else?
Yep, let's do it.
3, 2, 1, wow.
Wham, bam, thank you, man.
Okay, Mark gives his wham, bam, thank you, man. I'm curious, what third-party games did you buy this year on Switch?
I bought Cyberpunk.
Yep, as did I.
I
Played Cyberpunk for like 2 hours, and I was like, I don't want to live in a futuristic nightmare hellscape of a city. I feel like that's where I am right now.
and I've never turned it on. I did not. I think that might be it. Honestly, I did buy Dragon Quest. No, I didn't.
No.
I played Dragon Quest 3.
Right?
Yeah, but no, I didn't. In fact, after playing a little bit of 3, I was like, I don't think I need this in my life. But I think that's it, honestly. But I have. I'm going to buy Final Fantasy VII.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I have that pre-ordered. I'm going to buy Resident Evil Requiem and 7 and 8. I'm going to buy Pragmata.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm excited for the future. That's why I gave it my wham bam thank you ma'am. Is just because it feels different this time.
Sure.
It feels like third-party support.
You're seeing a sea
different.
change. Yes.
We didn't even mention like Assassin's Creed.
Shadows.
Another like current generation game that was released on Switch 2. So yeah, it just feels different this time, and I'm hoping that continues to be true.
Very good. And I know I used sea change twice in that conversation, and I apologize.
I said fart like 5 times. You're fine.
All right, shall we move on to the next category, which is Nintendo Switch Online?
Yes.
So this is sort of all-encompassing. We are talking about the various games that came to the Classics libraries, both for the regular. There are now, even though they don't sell it this way, there are 3 pillars of these Classics libraries, right? There's the regular old NSO, there's NSO plus expansion pack, and there's NSO plus expansion pack for Switch 2.
Yeah, if you're a Switch 2 owner, you get some bonus stuff like those Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild.
Oh, yes, that, but also just like GameCube games.
Oh yeah, and GameCube. Yeah.
And I guess this is maybe less impactful, but like games that require mouse support, like Mario Paint or Mario and Wario.
Right.
There's an invisible third pillar here that they are not charging a different rate for or calling something different, but it's there.
And yes, that's right. Also, part of this, so you have like the libraries, but then in addition to that, you also have the things that like, Game Chat. That's what it's called, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Game
okay.
Chat. Yep.
I was trying to think of the official name, but yeah, Game Chat, which right now is not a paid feature, but
Right.
presumably will become one in 2026.
Yes, as as part of the NSO subscription. Yeah. And then just sort of like the ongoing, just like the ease of use for the kind of everything, the cloud saves, the
ability to play on the kind of the table stakes stuff, the ability to play online, the cloud stakes. I guess you also now have like Nintendo Music that's included in that.
Yeah, totally.
And then also this year they did another like Nintendo Switch Online game trial where
Oh yeah.
or not game trial.
No, what was it? The game test, the online play
The
test.
online play test.
Yeah.
Yes, because game trials are also a Nintendo Switch Online subscription thing where you can download games, specific games for like a select period of time and play
Right.
them.
Also,
the game test, play test,
play
Oh, man.
test. We'll get there. Fart. It remains also the financially easiest decision to make in like subscription gaming, where the regular level of NSO, which gives you the Game Boy, the NES, and the Super NES, is $20 a year.
That's crazy.
Which is less than a month of Xbox, whatever it's called.
Live.
No, it's not called Live. It's Xbox.
Oh, Game Pass.
Game Pass. There we go.
Yeah.
And then $50 for the year for the higher tier, which includes you mentioned the Switch 2 versions of Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, also GameCube, also Nintendo 64, also Game Boy Advance, also Sega Genesis.
Plus the you also have the Happy Home Paradise expansion on Animal Crossing, Octo expansion on Splatoon 2 also come for free.
The Octo expansion on Splatoon 2 is starting to sound like a Stone Age kind of benefit, right? Where it's like, you can carve things into rock now for free. Why would I want to do that?
Yeah.
But it's still, it's
still there.
It's still a benefit, and it is still there. Part of what was exciting about NSO and like the classics that were added to the library this year are that a bunch of GameCube games were in there, right?
Yes, theoretically, that was really exciting.
It's true. I'm a lot more excited about the other stuff.
Well, when we did our
Mario Paint's on this thing.
well, when we did our nominations for Cardies,
Yes.
right? Like for best Switch 2 feature, we forgot about it was the GameCube library, because when it first launched in June, I played a little bit of Wind Waker and bounced off it pretty quickly, and then I haven't picked up any of the other games, and I think
Well, you played Wario World a little bit.
Oh, I did sample Wario World. That's right. But I don't know. It's just I feel like it's going to be this. I feel this way with all of the libraries, honestly, where I don't touch them that much. Occasionally there's a game.
Sure.
There's a Mario game, I'll be honest, that I want to go in and play. I want to play Mario Brothers 3, or I want to play World or something like that. It's mostly a Mario machine for me. And occasionally a game will be released that I want to sample. But GameCube in general, I don't know. So far, I haven't really been compelled to like spend
really
a lot
latch
of time
on to.
in it.
So for me, there are a lot of games that came out on the NSO Classics this year that were like actually genuinely very exciting. Wario Land 4 on GBA,
which we played for NCS Arcade.
Donkey Kong 94 on Game Boy, which we played for NCS Arcade. Mario's Picross on Game Boy, I played all of that. Like, I literally played every single puzzle in that. Fire Emblem: The Sacred Stones on GBA, very cool. Let's see, Mario Paint, which I already mentioned.
It is nice we finally got Kid Icarus of Myths and Monsters not that long ago, just a couple of weeks ago.
Very recently, Mario and Wario, a cool previously Japanese exclusive game. Luigi's Mansion, cool to see that. Like, now the entire trilogy is playable on Switch 2. Battletoads, I was excited about that. Wario World, which I'm still meaning to check out. And then there's all this other stuff in there that it's like, if you and I decide to like do another, we just like sample some Genesis games. They added eSWAT, Sweets, City Under Siege, Streets of Rage, and Super Thunderblade. So like,
yeah, I totally hear what you're saying. I feel like I take Nintendo Switch Online for granted.
Sure,
because it is so cheap, and which, by the way, I could 100% an easy way for Nintendo to make more money without having to increase like Switch 2 prices would be increasing the price of Nintendo Switch Online.
And they've not done that.
They have never done it. But we've also talked about, it's not like Nintendo Switch Online, their subscriber base is not really growing. It's kind of stagnated. And so I don't know that they can raise the price
right
without losing subscribers. which they don't want to do. Anyways, this is not a prediction episode. 'Cause
No,
we're
it
not
is.
doing one of those.
It is not.
I just
Also, Virtual Boy's coming to this thing next year, so like we're gonna get to play Wario Land Virtual Boy.
yeah, that's right.
And that's awesome.
Well, maybe we should reveal what our honorific is for
Okay,
this.
ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Wild
card. Okay, so we have wild card. We have a wild card. We have to say what the wild card stands for.
Okay, my wild card is whatever.
Your wild card is whatever.
It is because, like I said, I take Nintendo Switch Online for granted. I appreciate Tetris 99. I appreciate
Yes.
like being able to play online. Yeah, of course. The cloud saves. I don't even think about it. Perfect. Nintendo Music. I'm glad that it exists. But I feel like I know as we're going through this that it offers a ton of value, and yet I'm
it's
still
just not value that
I'm
you're taking advantage of.
Not even that. It's just for whatever reason, I just emotionally am like, yeah, it's good.
So it's interesting. I was on Jeremy's podcast a couple times over the last year, and once right after the Mario Galaxy Collection was announced, and Jeremy, his observation about it was like, now that Mario Galaxy 2 is going to be available to play on Switch, people will stop talking about Mario Galaxy 2, because what we want is the ability to play it. We don't actually want to play it, and I don't 100% agree with that, but I do think that there is something that shape around NSO and around these classic libraries where, like, how much am I actually going to play any of these games? Some of these games I will play a lot of, Mario 3 or whatever, but I do just like having the ability to dip in and sample games here and there, and every now and then totally get lost in one. We both played Earthbound basically for the first time on NSO, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, it is a portal to a bunch of magical stuff.
Yes. No, I agree with that completely. All of it, where it's also like there is a certain element of like, I just want access to this thing.
Yes.
Like the ability for me to play this thing is cool. The fact that I can do it at any time is comforting. Will I ever do that? I don't know.
It's a great question.
That's what I mean by just like taking it for granted.
Right.
Right? I don't even think about the fact that I can play Super Mario Brothers 3 at any time. I should play that right now. Why am I not playing Super Mario Brothers 3?
Well, and are you going to play the NES version? Are you going to play the All-Stars version? Or are you going to play Super Mario Advance 4 or Super Mario Brothers 3?
I know. I have so many options. You have so much good stuff. It is insane the amount of games that are on.
Yeah.
Like, and not crap, like good games.
Also crap. I mean, like both are present
there.
Yes.
But I just totally take it for granted. I don't think about it.
Yes.
And that's why it's a whatever for me. Not because I think it's a bad program. Obviously, I think it's an insane deal as we're talking about all the things that you get for $20 a year.
Or 50.
Or 50. But
which is also cheaper than 2 months of Xbox, which I've already Game Pass, thank you.
But yeah, so a whatever for me.
So my wild card is not for whatever, it's for Wario time. Because Wario Land 4, because Mario and Wario, because Wario World and Virtual Boy Wario Land. Wario's finally getting his time to shine on NSO this year.
Rating.
/ also a little bit next year. Okay, shall we move on to our next category?
Yes.
Okay, the next category is Amiibo.
You thought they were dead?
Kinda.
But they're not.
They're really not dead. Amiibo, not dead. Still alive.
Back and more expensive. But bigger. Okay,
so they are... all these things are true. So the Street Fighter 6 launched on Switch 2 with 3 Amiibo. As you say, they're more expensive, $40 each, and they're huge. They're like 150% the size of a regular Amiibo. But by, mid-December, these things were on deep discount.
Yeah.
You could get them for under $10 each, which that you could get the whole set for less than I paid for one of them.
Uh-huh.
So I'm frustrated with the state of Amiibo because they launched them all really expensive. And there's a like an inessential quality about some of these things. That like the Kirby Air Riders amiibo, which I got both of the two that came out this year, and I have a pre-order for the Meta Knight one, and I've got to really consider how badly I want to like continue collecting these things because there's two more after that Meta Knight one. And if each one is going to be $50 when they come out, and they're all these like big chunky guys sitting on other big chunky things, I don't know. They just it feels less, it feels more foolish now than it did in years past. I'm not really sure how to articulate that.
I know what you mean. I think it was surprising how quickly some of these went on sale.
Yes.
And how like discounted, and how like the DK and Pauline one, it felt like literally weeks after, you know, like a handful of weeks after it was released, that you could buy it at like a discounted price. And I don't feel like that used to happen. So I just don't know if the demand is not there for Amiibo anymore.
Well, I think the demand isn't there at that price, right? Because when Amiibo launched, they were like $14.
Right.
Right? $12, $13, $14. And now like the simplest one is $30.
Do you I know that they were like designing these and manufacturing them before all the tariff stuff happened.
Right.
But do you think that like part of the reason they've gotten bigger is because it is like easier to manufacture them at that size? Like the painting, like all that stuff is easier, and like the cost differentiation of manufacturing a tiny one versus a big one is not that different, and so they're like, well, let's just make them bigger because it's easier
that justifies
to do
the
like the
expense or
detail
something.
work or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I really don't. I mean, that's as good a theory as any. But like, I mean, the other thing that makes them feel less essential are like the ones that Nintendo put out on Switch 2 launch day were the Tears of the Kingdom sages, Yunobo, Riju, Sidon, and Tulin, characters that I can name because I have them written out on the sheet in front of me. But like, they're the less good versions of the champions from Breath of the Wild, which themselves are sort of obscure amiibo.
Right.
And where's the Minoru Construct amiibo?
Right.
Spoilers for Tears of the Kingdom, I guess.
That they announced.
They announced it.
With still no release date.
Still no release date.
Yeah, it's... I honestly thought that amiibo could have
died,
been gone.
Yeah, me too.
But they're back, and sometimes you're like, the Pragmata one looks bad.
The Pragmata one does look bad.
Like,
it's also kind of the Resident Evil one too.
Yeah, Grace, is that her name?
Grace Ashcroft.
Yeah, like also,
and we know Leon's in the game. Give me a Leon amiibo. Yeah, that's cool.
Well, let's do our rating.
Okay.
Do our rating.
All right. Ready?
3,
2,
2,
1. WTF. We're both giving it a WTF, which we have now used up all of our special.
Yeah, that's right. Wild card, wham bam, thank you ma'am, and WTF. Because really, like, okay, amiibo are back, but I don't know that anybody wants them. And I understand your hesitancy to like pre-order these things, because it's like, well, if I wait, it's the Ubisoft problem, right? If I wait 6 weeks, am I going to be able to get this thing for like half off?
Right. Well, I don't know that we've seen that happen with the Kirby
That's true.
Air Riders amiibo just yet. But I mean, they haven't been out that long.
Right.
And I wonder.
Metroid Prime 4, have those
Yeah,
gone
no,
on
I haven't
sale?
seen them.
guess-
I mean,
yeah.
but the Silex one just came out, less than a month ago at this point. For whatever reason, the Samus and Viola ones came out or before the game came out. So yeah, and this is really why it's WTF, right? Is I just don't know what's going on here.
And why was Yunobo not available for pre-order?
Why was Yunobo
Like,
not
the world
available
was
for pre-order?
lousy with them. They
He
had
was
like
everywhere.
rows and rows
Yes.
at Best Buy.
That they were trying to
Online.
charge $30 for,
Yeah.
and had to knock it down to $8.
And the mystery of why Yunobo was not available for pre-order, but was so ubiquitous. I don't know. Amiibo, I am more confused than ever at like the Amiibo. We're getting third-party ones at a rate that, like the Street Fighter 6 one.
It's really just from Capcom.
Well, but you're right, because Street Fighter 6 is
Street Fighter 6 did those like the 3 actual like character ones.
and 2 waves of cards.
2 waves of cards, and the first wave of cards made sense because it was like a pack with all of them, and then after that you could only buy like little booster packs with like some that are new variants.
That's right.
And some that are actually the new characters
That's
that are
right.
whatever. It's convoluted and bad. And so it's those plus some Monster Hunter Stories amiibo, plus the RE9 and Pragmata amiibo, which we've noted are either strange choices or look bad. So it's just like it's just a big ball of like I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah. It's a weird one. WTF?
WTF? We don't get it. Here's the thing: they could turn it around with a set of Final Fantasy VII Remake amiibo. If Square Enix were to get in this game,
Also, we didn't talk about the Galaxy ones that they announced.
yeah,
But
also
haven't
huge.
been released yet. Those are also those are huge.
Yep, those are also big,
I
and
don't
I've
know.
got them both pre-ordered. And I don't know why.
Well, no, it makes sense. No, it does because like you had a momentum with Amiibo, and there was a time where it was difficult to get
Yes,
the new Amiibo,
right.
where they would release, they would sell out like immediately in pre-orders, and then you wouldn't know if you were going to get them again. But now it feels like they either don't sell it out in pre-order or they do, but we're still just flooded with them one way or the other. And
Right.
so the urgency, like the importance of getting it ahead of time just feels less. But the problem is you never know when that's going to change.
You
again.
don't know. Yeah, exactly. Listeners, if you are seeing Amiibo in stores, what is the state of the Kirby Air Riders and Metroid Prime 4 Amiibo? Are they on shelves? Or did Nintendo properly calibrate and like actually sold out of them at their like full price?
And this will in some ways, Amiibo will forever be a WTF for me until they reprint the QB one.
I mean, truly,
And they
Wither Box Boy,
and
you know?
and they print it in the US.
Yes.
Yeah.
We need it.
All right. So Amiibo WTF for 2025.
That's right, from both of us. Next up, non-video game products. Products / services / I don't really know.
Things that happen.
Things that happened that had Nintendo's name on them. Of course, Nintendo Today, that app
Yes.
that they used as like a communication tool / short film distribution / announcements about a Zelda movie. You know,
Uh-huh.
like the weirdest. I still don't get it.
Yeah.
Outside of like just Nintendo needing a method for direct communication that is not tied to or like exclusive to a social media platform that isn't their own.
Right. Like, yeah, it makes sense as part of their broader strategy to try to engage with people more regularly, to get people to create Nintendo accounts, like all that kind of stuff. And I guess, yeah, if like, they have stayed on X, that's still where they post all of their updates.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess if I don't know what worse thing could happen for, that they would make them leave the platform at this point. But if they did, they now have
Right.
like a home that they can go to that is like Nintendo controlled, kind of like a safe space.
And several times this year, things came out on Nintendo Today before they put them on X.
Yeah.
And
they've even made it so you can't like screenshot.
I know, it's crazy.
So it's like, yeah, if you want to watch or whatever like exclusive thing was posted there, you basically have to download the app now.
So I guess we'll do the things like sort of related to the Nintendo Today app, and we've already sort of mentioned them glancingly. The Zelda movie announcements, that like that's where we got the casting information for those for Zelda and Link, and where they first like put out those like on-set photos or whatever, and then those quickly make their way to other places. But both of those, right?
I was trying to remember when because Nintendo Today was announced at
Yes.
the end of March, and then it was released that day. Then the next day they posted some Zelda news, and I can't remember. Was it the fact that a movie existed? When
Yeah,
did we
I mean
know
that was a very early Nintendo Today announcement, just like a post from Miyamoto.
Yes.
Right, being like, "This is Miyamoto."
Yeah, I think that was the
That
day
may have been, yeah.
after Nintendo Today launched.
But close to you, right? The Pikmin short film, released multiple times over successive days. First, which is like a baby experiencing some strange things. Then the next day, those strange occurrences being explained by Pikmin are doing it. And then the two videos sort of like one after another, so you can see the difference between the Pikmin being present and the Pikmin not being present.
That was legitimately on in my Nintendo Today feed at the top of it for like a week and a half.
Yeah, I wouldn't know because there's not been a week and a half long period where I've checked Nintendo Today every day, even during something mysterious like Close to You happening.
I still don't understand how the updates are
No.
distributed,
No.
because there was like a Wario update sometime this year that involved butts or farts or something, and I never got it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's strange. And there's like no way to like you can see what they're serving you up for that day, but like you can't go back to something.
You can.
Can you?
Yes.
Like something from the history?
Yeah, there's like a news tab where you
Okay,
can go
okay.
back and you can see everything. I don't know. It's a strange. I don't check it every day. I don't have push notifications turned on.
Right.
But
Same.
occasionally I will pop in to see what's going on in Nintendo Today.
Other stuff not connected to Nintendo Today. Nintendo opened a store in San Francisco. Cool. We have not had an opportunity yet to visit. Nintendo opened the Super Nintendo World at Epic Universe in Orlando. Cool. We have not had the opportunity to visit it. But we've been to Super Nintendo World at Universal here in Hollywood.
Yep.
Let's see what else. My Mario rather. The sort of like kid-friendly initiative that is
Yeah, it's like aimed at preschoolers.
Yeah.
With a line of products like books for young children and like block toys and
which
all that
are
kind of
also
stuff.
amiibo.
Yes.
Which that makes sense to me.
Right. Mobile apps and Switch apps that, just like to introduce kids, apparel, stuff like that. Introduce children to Mario at a young age.
Fire Emblem Shadows.
Oh yeah, just like
Came
dropped
out on
out of
mobile.
nowhere.
And it's a weird like it's almost like a Fire Emblem meets like werewolf, right?
Yeah, widely derided.
Yeah, not a ton of fun. It's on my phone though. What else? Mario got a balloon in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, of course. Doug Bowser retires. In fact, as at the point of this release, it'll be his first day not being president of Nintendo of America.
Price increases.
Boy, howdy.
On accessories, on Switch 1 hardware.
Everything except, of course, NSO and Nintendo Switch 2 hardware.
And I guess the announcement of like the Super Mario Galaxy movie, the reveal of the Super Mario Galaxy movie.
Yeah, true. And I guess there was a Nintendo Direct for that as well.
Yeah.
But we already talked about Nintendo Directs and we gave them wows and wham bam thank you ma'ams. And then, there's like Lego Mario and DK and stuff like that. And of course the ongoing support to the Nintendo Music app, which you and I talked about every week.
Yep.
I don't know, anything to say about the Nintendo Music app?
Oh, I think we were going to. Was this episode where we were going to?
Oh, yeah.
Our Nintendo Music
Yes, our like the whatever it is
end of year wrap up thing.
Yes,
Year in review.
The Spotify Wrapped has the branding down. So I took screenshots from when we talked about this on December 16th.
Okay.
So that's what I can. I spent 678 minutes listening to the Nintendo Music
Okay,
app.
I had 875.
Okay, so both of us, mine's like 11 hours, right? And yours is a little bit more than that.
It's like 14 or something like that.
Yeah. And like
that's more than I thought.
it's more than I thought too, and it also doesn't seem like that much. Because like
over the course of a year,
you think about like the music you listen to, and like 10 hours is not that much.
No, I listen to music at work all the time when I'm
Right.
working, and it is a lot of times Nintendo music, but it's on YouTube. I'm like listening to YouTube mixes.
Right. Well, and I'm usually queuing that stuff up on my computer and not on my phone.
Yeah,
which is the only place that you can listen to Nintendo music. Mark, what was your number one favorite track in 2025?
Okay, yeah, my top track was Moonlight Canyon from Kirby and the Forgotten Land. My top 3 are all from Kirby and the Forgotten Land. I like that soundtrack.
Oh, that's interesting. I've got a. I mean, here from 5 to 1. Number 5 is the Shrines Trail from Breath of the Wild. Ending from Super Mario World, Korok Forest from Breath of the Wild, staff credits from Breath of the Wild, and Sticker Bush Symphony at number 1.
Oh, very good.
From Donkey Kong Country 2.
My 5 is Northeast Frost Street from Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Number 4 is Globe Nighttime Forecast Channel from Wii Channels. Number
awesome.
3 is Enter the Fiery Forbidden Lands from Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Number 2 is Roar of DDD from Kirby and the Forgotten Land, which is an awesome track. And then Moonlight Canyon is number 1, also from Kirby and the Forgotten Land.
Yeah, it's funny. Like if I go below, like top 5, I start to see stuff like, entrance, street pass, me, plaza, and it's just like, oh, I must have played that one whole time, and that's why it's showing up in my top 10.
Yeah, title theme from Wave Race 64
Yeah,
is on
well,
here. Dolphin
but that
Park
rocks.
from Wave Race 64.
That's very
yeah,
good.
no, I feel good about that.
I don't know. Is there any other information from this thing? There's top tracks each month. There's
My most listened to playlists. Number 1, Kirby the Forgotten Land, but number 2, staff credits. The playlist.
I bet that's a good playlist.
Yeah.
My top 3 playlists are Breath of the Wild, Street Pass, Me Plaza, and Pikmin 4.
Let's see. My most listened to game. No surprise. Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I stopped taking screenshots after that. The next thing after that is a picture of the mirrors we put up in the master bathroom.
Very
in my house.
nice. Very nice.
A
true year in review.
Yeah, truly. All right, let's give it a. Let's
3, 2, 1.
Whiff. Whiff. We're both going whiff.
But my expectations are pretty low for this. Not every year is going to have an Alarmo.
I mean, what a great point. And like if next year we include the Virtual Boy like physical hardware as part of that, like maybe it can get its way to WoW status.
I will say that in the US, the Nintendo store, like the My Nintendo store,
yes,
is getting more and more like
this
good
is
product.
true. This is a great point.
Like real product, like the kind of stuff that you would see at the Nintendo store in San Francisco. In seemingly like it sells fast. Like they had a cool that is available in the stores, like Christmas Nintendo cardigan type thing.
Oh, nice.
And it's sold out.
Yeah.
But they did stock it for a while. So
yeah.
that is a huge improvement over the type of like just kind of generic Mario Nintendo stuff
pencil
that we had
cases
online before.
yeah.
So hope to see more of that in 2026.
Okay, so as we go into our final category here, the Switch 2 launch, you and I both have one WoW and one whiff left. So what this gets is going to be a mystery. And we've talked about a lot of these pieces of the Switch 2 launch in other categories, as I said at the beginning of the episode. All of this happens on June 5th. We're talking the hardware itself, including the camera and the Pro Controller, Joy-Con 2, Mario Kart World, Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour, the updates to Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, the Amiibo for the Sages, GameCube, both the games, Wind Waker, Soul Calibur 2, F-Zero GX, and GameCube controllers. That's sort of that whole thing. But also
Cyberpunk.
Yep, Cyberpunk, Street Fighter 6. And to include the experience of like pre-ordering was a little bit of a mess, but like turns out that wasn't that important. That if you did not secure a pre-order, you could just go into most big box retailers for like a week after launch and just pick one up.
Yeah, the availability of the Switch 2 is remarkable.
I agree.
Because they've sold a ton of them. So it's like they really did what they said they were going to do.
Which was meet demand.
Yeah.
Which is, sounds like just like what anyone would want to do when launching a new product is meet demand. But Nintendo's historically bad at that.
Yes.
Or strategically doesn't do it.
And I would say all video game
console
makers, because usually, they're using cutting edge.
Right.
Like silicon and
chips, probably.
And they're making them like so
every now and then we have to talk about something we don't really know what it is.
Yeah, at least once a week.
Yeah.
Or they're manufacturing them so close to when the console's actually releasing, and the Nintendo has not had that problem. There was maybe like 2, 3, 4 weeks where you couldn't immediately walk into a store and buy a Switch 2. But by the end of August, maybe even before that,
they got tough
again.
Yeah. And then like a bunch were available for the holiday seasons. The bundles, both the Mario Kart World, which is either still around or came back, and the Pokemon ZA bundle, there are a lot of like different ways to buy the Switch 2, and it's mostly just easy.
Yeah.
which I think is interesting. Also, we had fun standing in line at Best Buy at 9 p.m. because we time zone shift now in a way that we never used to for physical launches of consoles. But that was super fun.
Yeah, that was super fun. And also, the internet was out, and so it was like really slow,
Right.
but still a fun experience.
That's right. And then like I had a great the next because I didn't have a pre-order there. I was getting mine from Nintendo itself, which but also had a pretty like nice system of pre-ordering. And if you didn't get like in that first wave of pre-orders, they kept your information and like would send an email sometimes after launch being like, you can order one now if you want. But that was a nice thing to experience too.
And totally new, like the ability that Nintendo was selling
Yep.
the hardware themselves.
Yeah.
It was the first time that's happened in the US.
Yeah, that Nintendo online store presence is just like getting better seemingly every year. Anything else about the Switch 2 launch that you want to say before we throw down either a wow or a whiff?
No, I think we should just do it.
3, 2, 1. Wow! We both say wow for that, which makes sense because we both gave wows to the first party lineup on Switch 2 this year. Yeah, and I think we are both generally pretty happy with the hardware itself.
Yeah, I do think, one the thing with the Switch 2 is that it's so much like the Switch 1.
Yeah.
Just all around improved version of it, that it doesn't have the like wow factor of the Switch 1 launch. And I think it'll forever be compared to the Switch 1 launch, and it will forever like pale in comparison.
Right.
But I think it is so successful at what it set out to do, which is just like the Switch but better. Like the hardware is better, the hardware is nicer. I think the one area where we just have to trust is that the games will follow. Whereas like with the Switch 1, from day one, you had one of the best games of all time.
Which is like an impossible, unrecreatable set of circumstances.
Yeah.
Because it's not just one of the greatest games of all time. It was one of the more anticipated games prior to its release, right? Like a Zelda game gets delayed like a million times, and at one point it was like, could this be the savior of the Wii U? Nope, nothing can save that thing. But instead, it like puts the Switch on the map, and then being able to put out Mario Odyssey by the end of the year. It's just a truly unrecreatable launch year scenario.
Yeah,
and so this doesn't reach that, but it does something that is impressive in its own right.
And also, Welcome Tour is in there.
Also, a Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour is in there, and you and I both like sort of
like
fine.
It. Yeah.
We think it's pretty good.
Yep.
Maybe 6 out of 10. I don't know.
I love taking those quizzes.
Yeah, the quizzes are fun.
In in concentrated amounts of time.
Right.
Mark, I don't want to do it forever.
Right. As I was driving over here, I saw a billboard for parenthood. Every now and then you see a billboard that's just like for an abstract concept. This one was for parenthood. And it was a father talking to his son, and the father was saying to the son, what's one thing you would have liked to change about your day today? And that got me thinking, what's one thing that I would have liked to change about the Nintendo Switch 2 launch year?
If we were parents to the Nintendo Switch 2.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And so I just, is there, and just like on the topic of Switch 2 Welcome Tour, pack it in. I don't mind paying $10 for it.
Mm-hmm.
How much money did you make off that, Nintendo? Was it worth it to piss off everyone? It doesn't. That $10 does not bother me at all. I think that's a good price for it. But this is the hill we died on with Super Mario Run as well, and I'm like, just pack it in.
I know. I think maybe the one that I would say was the $80 for Mario Kart World.
That's another one. Yeah.
Was it worth the headlines? Because it seemed like for a while that Nintendo was planting the flag at $80 games and other publishers were going to follow. Do you remember when Microsoft was like,
that's right.
we're going to be releasing $80 games, and then later walk that back? Like, just kidding, we're not. Those are going to be $70 games.
Yes.
And so I don't know if like the backlash to Mario Kart World
is what did it,
or if it was something else. But now, you mentioned the Mario Kart World bundle. That is, Nintendo said that was running through fall. We, I think, now know that they have stopped manufacturing it. And so when that run, like when there are no more of those, will people buy Mario Kart World
at
$80 when they're picking up, their Switch 2?
Yeah, because most people did not pay $80 for Mario Kart World. Most people paid $50 for it.
Yeah, in fact, like Nintendo made more bundles than non-bundles.
Yes,
for of the Switch 2. So I don't know. It's that's the one I would say is this going to be? It'll be interesting to see if it is worth it to them. That the $80 was worth it.
What's interesting is because $80 is also the price point for a lot of the Nintendo Switch 2 editions that are plus whatever, so plus Jamboree TV, plus Starcross World, plus Bella Bella Park. I assume, actually, don't quote me on that one. Maybe we don't have a price for that yet. But that's $20 for the DLC. And I wonder if that's what they were just like, that $80 sets that bar there, so that 80 doesn't seem insane for Mario Kart World, but it just does seem insane.
I'm just hoping, because and purely selfishly, because I don't want to live through the discourse, that they don't release DLC, paid DLC for Mario Kart World.
Yeah, I don't,
because I I'm already so tired of those potential conversations.
Yeah.
But it is I don't know. That's the one where I think pricing around the whole thing. I do think that when the price was first announced, because it wasn't part of the Direct, so much of the discussion was $450, $80, right?
Yeah.
Is this too much? Is this too much? I feel like the discussion around the price of the Switch 2 itself has pretty much died down. And I feel like the consensus is, yeah,
it's a lot, but also everything's getting every piece of hardware has gotten more expensive.
That being said, I don't we were talking about a little bit earlier. In November, console sales in the US were horrible, historically terrible.
Right.
So is it just not just for the Switch 2, but for the PlayStation 5? So I think a question is oops.
And whatever Microsoft does.
Right. Yeah. But no, the thing that the third best selling console was that
whatever it is, that is it an educational thing, or
I think it's just a cheaper gaming system.
Yeah, okay.
And so what is it called, the Next World or something like that?
Yeah, it's something like that.
I just wonder if we've reached a point where people don't want to spend this much for video games, because it is such an expensive hobby right now.
And that's something that we've talked about in a lot of different dimensions, that that's also part of the problem with movies right now, is that it a ticket to a movie is going to cost you $24 or something. That all of these things that were relatively cheap entertainments or affordable entertainments don't feel that way now. And even if you look at inflation and blah, 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 that no, actually maybe games are cheaper than they used to be. That doesn't feel true right now in a way that is overriding whatever the numbers might say.
Next Playground. That's what it's called.
Very good.
But yeah, no.
And what does it do? You don't have to do. I know you just Googled, but I think it's funny
a box for motion control games.
Okay.
Yep. It costs $250. So
that's
$200
probably
less than a Switch 2. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And if you're looking for an alternative, everybody has a phone. Lots of people have tablets.
Right.
You can play Fortnite for free
on anything.
Yeah. So it's just the Roblox. There are just so many things that are, I think, potential difficulties for the Switch 2 in the future, even though it's had such a great launch. So yeah, I think I think pricing. That's probably the big thing coming out of it. That even though I think it's a fair price for a Switch 2, I just don't know how many people are going to want to.
That's the kicker, right? Is that it's fair. Well, and it's a criticism that gets thrown at Nintendo a lot. That they launch their first party games at a high price. They never drop them unless they're going on a quick sale for something, and even that usually not within the first couple years. And everyone else will put their games on sale or drop the price normally to $40 or whatever after less than a year. And is that a space that anyone can realistically occupy anymore? Right. With things like Game Pass, which I didn't need to be reminded of the name of this time, or anything that you could play on your phone, like you were just saying, Fortnite, Minecraft, Roblox, for free, which is cheaper than anything. How long can Nintendo keep up the balancing act that they've been doing?
Yeah, I don't know. I think 2026 is going to be very interesting for video games.
All right. I don't think there's any reason to recap our wows and whiffs here. Overall, the year gets a
yeah,
wobbly.
Oh, well, yeah. Yes, that's right. A wobbly.
All right, Mark, let's close this out. That's going to do it for this, the first episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society of 2026. We will be back in your feeds on Tuesday next week to discuss news. Hopefully something will have happened, and if not, we've got a couple weeks of gameplay to talk about. And then, Thursday from there on, and then we're back after this, right?
That's right.
We got to talk about if we're doing some kind of predictions episode, because maybe it's time for that again.
Maybe it is.
Feels like the future's wide open.
Maybe the fact that we don't have to predict anything about a Switch 2.
Right.
Well, anyways.
Well, yeah, I mean, who knows? Switch 3 at the end of the year? We don't know.
Yeah, Switch 2 Lite.
They got to wait on that one a little bit. We're going to get a direct in February, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool, man. It feels like we're back. That's going to do it for this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society. Thank you so much to our 16-bit patrons, Connor McCabe, Trace Millette, Kyle Seaborn, and Drew Mackey. We appreciate you and everyone who's interacting with us on the Discord, on Patreon, listening to these episodes, wherever you do that. We appreciate you. If you're not in the Discord, email us, Nintendo Cartridge Society at gmail.com. We will send you an invitation. Anthony DeLuca made our logo. Our theme music is provided by 8-Bit Betty. You can get more of his music by going to 8bitbetty.com or by listening right now. For my co-host, Mark Mitchell, this is Patrick Eller saying thank you for listening.